Live from Crawford Studios.
It's CC and NJ Guy.
What? What's going on, my peoples? How you guys doing?
All right, we're doing good.
Excellent.
Today, we have a returning guest.
Yes.
Zoe Rulin. Hey, Zoe.
Zoe. What's
nice
going
to be
on
with you guys. Really
not
nice
too much. How you doing? Everything good?
Good. Yeah, great.
Good. Thanks for coming back on with us. Well, with me, this is the first time.
First time for you.
Yeah. Nice to see you, Kenny.
So yes, appreciate you being here.
Of course.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So,
Thanks for having me.
Last time you were on, you were doing the play Dirt. So can you tell us how that went?
Yeah, for sure. I'm trying to remember how early on in the process we talked. I think I was in rehearsals already. I think it maybe was, so we had done 2 weeks of rehearsal at that point. And so then I had another couple weeks of rehearsal. We had our tech week, which, tech week is actually a interesting term because really we had a Monday evening for about 4 hours. And then we had a 12-hour tech day Tuesday. And then we were not back in the space until Saturday morning, and we had a matinee that day. So that was pretty wild. It was my first tech week ever, it was a really unconventional tech week for a first tech week. But that was really fun. I had never done tech for a show before, so that was great to just get to sit there and be like, oh, my part is over now. I just get to sit here and watch everyone else do their thing. I get to watch the director work with the designers, and so that was really fun. Yeah, and then we did 8 performances. We had a Saturday, Sunday matinee and evening show for 2 weekends, and that was great. Like so many people came out for it. Lots of industry folks came out for it. A lot of my family came out for it. I had my grandma came from Alaska, my cousin came from California, my aunt came from Florida, so that was really nice as well.
Yeah,
that is awesome.
That everybody came out for it. Yeah,
and I know Rob and Juliet were there as well, right?
Yes, yeah, and my Aunt Susie and my Uncle Joe, and they really enjoyed it. It was really fun. I was actually seated right behind them for the performance they were at. So it was really fun to watch my Uncle Joe watch the play because he's not a theater guy. And I could tell the first act, he was like not really sure. But then the second act, like the first scene, he sat up and he was cracking up. And that was really gratifying, that I could make him laugh. So that was really fun. And I'm really proud. I'm really proud of what we were able to do with the constraints that were on us and the resources that we had. I mean, we did this show on a scrappy budget. We originally budgeted $10,000. Ultimately, it cost around $12,000 or $13,000, but still for a show, that's really little. And the designers our whole team was so amazing. I'm really proud of the way we all worked together. Everybody was really nice. Everybody was really supportive of each other. That was awesome. And the designers were able to do so much with so little. Our set designer did not have a huge budget and was able to create this really cool, versatile set, because I don't know if you remember me talking about
that.
Yeah. So basically, right, the first act of the play takes place in a garden. So he created this garden box that then the second act of the play takes place in a city, and every piece of the garden could come apart and then get put back together. So it became a conference room and a bar, and there were stools, and it was just really, and then it could be put at the very end, they go back to the garden, and but the garden is smaller. It's about, memory and childhood. And he was able to build it so it could be put back together, but be smaller. And it was so cool to see. And our props and costumes designer, Alex Church Gonzalez, I really have to shout them out because they were doing props and costumes, and they came in under budget on both. Like, they're really committed to doing reusable, sustainable, recycled materials. And so there was tons of, scrap usage and thrifting and all of this really cool stuff. So not only did they create amazing props and costumes and come in under budget, but it was all like pretty much sustainable materials. So that was awesome.
That's
too.
Really interesting. See how creative people can get when they got to work within a certain budget. It's like, all right, we're going to use this. We're going to figure this out and just make it work.
It's unbelievable. I actually kept, so they do a bunch of harvesting in the play, and I kept some of the fake vegetables that Alex made out of fabric because they're just so amazing. So when we get off the call, I'll show you. I have the corn in my bedroom. I'll bring it out for you. They're really cool.
That's great.
Yeah.
So great.
I mean, and the actors were amazing. I was really proud with, and our sound designer, oh my gosh, Chikoa Stills, such a trooper. Had a 15-hour day, our tech day, because the light board was not working properly on our first tech day. So they went home, did a bunch of research, called their professor, mentor, and like worked it all out, came in at 7 a.m. the next morning so that everything would be ready when everyone else arrived at 10 a.m. And then we teched all the way till 10 p.m. So they were, I mean, amazing. Like I said, our whole team was incredible. So I'm really proud. I'm really proud of what we were able to do on a really small budget.
Oh yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, you'd be
Because, I mean,
surprised what you can do, especially with all those different type of people and the imagination they have going on and how they get, it's just your mind figures stuff out quick.
And not for nothing, that goes to show that your play was something that everybody was super vested in. You know what I mean? That really wanted to be there with you and, make it all happen, and they knew it was a piece. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. And like shout out to my director Tyler Christie for assembling an amazing team. He put everybody together. I didn't hire anyone. I sat in on auditions and we decided about actors together. But besides that, the rest of the team he picked.
Yeah.
So definitely shout out to Tyler for that as well.
That's awesome.
That is way groovy.
Sounds like you guys had fun.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you're so excited. It's like, woohoo, it was a good time.
Yeah. I mean, how could you not, right? Like it's so amazing to see something that you've created come to life, something that was in my head and then on a page. And then I got to watch people actually do it, actually bring these characters to life in front of an audience, and just so fun, right? Because again, we're constrained by the budget. So in a full production, these women would be sitting in a pile of fake dirt. That's the vision. But we didn't have the budget for that. Not only that, but our set had to be cleaned up and stored so that the show that was in the theater Friday, Saturday could do their show. And then we pulled everything back out. So it had to be stored in about like a 10 by 3 by 3 space. Whoa. So that was, also an additional challenge. And so it was really fun to see, okay, so we can't do that version of it. What version of it can we do? And so they came up with this fabric motif where the fabric stood in for some of the vegetation in the garden. And so that was really cool to see a version of what this could be if we're doing it on a smaller scale. So that was awesome. And then, lots of people came. That was really fun. A little bit stressful because I was also the producer. Self-producing is such a challenge. I don't think I realized how hard it was going to be before I did it. I mean, I had self-produced readings before, but that is nothing compared to, and this wasn't even a full production. It was a workshop production, but it was a beast. I was like, wow, I can't believe I'm in charge of writing the play and editing the play and making sure the play is where I want it to be. And also I'm the person who needs to worry about the fact that we have 2 shows on the Super Bowl and we're not selling the shows.
Right, yeah.
It would have been really nice to not be the person worried about ticket sales, but we made it work.
I mean, one of the things that's probably cool though is that because you had so much involved in it, that like you can kind of make your vision come true maybe better if less people are in it, right? I mean, I'm assuming, is that like an advantage maybe, or?
Yeah, I mean, I was having this conversation a couple nights ago with a fellow artist who also does a lot of self-producing. I think self-producing attracts the kind of person who has trouble delegating and who just has this feeling of, oh, it'll be the way I want it to be if I do it myself.
Yeah.
So there's an aspect of that to self-producing where it's going to be the way you want it to be because you do it yourself. But theater is such a collaborative media that it's impossible to do it all by yourself. And we had an amazing producer as well, Lila Weitzner, who just ran around doing absolutely everything. I don't even know how many different jobs she did because it was way beyond what a producer would normally be doing. But
really.
Yeah. I mean, just random stuff like transporting props and costume, anything we needed, any little thing that hadn't made itself onto the to-do list that we were like, oh no, we need this. Lila would do it, and she was amazing.
Cool. That's so cool.
Yeah, that is way groovy. I'm glad it all went out with, pretty much without a hitch.
Yeah. I mean, right. And I learned a lot about the play.
I was going to ask you that.
Yeah, I got to watch it 8 times. So I learned a lot. I was present for every single performance. And that was interesting because the first performance, the Saturday matinee, was the first time I'd ever heard it out loud, start to finish, in front of an audience. We never did a reading. We never did anything else, which was really kind of scary to realize, oh, wow, the first time a group of people is going to hear this is going to be our first performance.
Right.
I learned things about the play immediately. Some things I could change, some things I couldn't, that I did want to change. And so then, I had to make peace with, okay, some of these things that I want to change now are just going to be constant for the rest of the run. And I just have to deal with that and get over it. Some things I was able to change. Let's see, I made a change between the first two Sunday shows, the Sunday matinee and the Sunday evening. And then I made a couple changes before the Saturday matinee the following weekend. So I was able to make minor changes, but definitely learned a lot about the play, and there's much more work that I want to do on it. So hopefully someone who came or heard about it or read it will want to give us some resources to do another workshop, because I want to really dig into Act 2 and change a bunch of, basically the way the play is structured, it has two protagonists. So there's one sister who's the protagonist for Act 1, and then at the act break it switches, and the middle sister is the protagonist for Act 2. And I really want to look at Act 2 and look at her arc and figure out, okay, what is the thing that she wants in this act? How does she change? How does things get in her way of what she wants, kind of very basic playwriting structure things that I think I lost sight of a little bit in that second act. So I really want to do another workshop and dig into that. And then the first act in performance dragged, which I did not expect. Usually when I read the play by myself, it reads really, really fast. So I want to kind of do a little bit of work on it and figure out why that is. And some of the harvesting sequences can maybe get shortened. I'm toying with cutting 2 scenes from the end of the first act. And I had a great conversation with my director about that just a couple of days ago, where he had this amazing idea for the transition between acts. So I really hope we get in the room again soon and do some more work on it.
Yeah, that's super cool. Just, if you could, being able to like change it and be able to, get it like just right,
Yes, totally.
It's a total learning experience though, right? I mean, when you think about it, because it's the first time you're doing this and everything. So you go back, you look at it, and you're like, okay, that's going to change. No, I like that, Well, maybe I'll switch this around and put this here and there, It's just, and then that'll continue on with everything that you do from this point on, everything, and you'll just get better. You know what I mean? And it just that's how it is, right? I mean,
yeah. That's how I'm thinking.
It sounds good. And by the way, not to change the subject, but we'll get back to that. When you're talking about this and how everything is, and the stage and the props and everything, I'm thinking I could see like a book, like a small book, the color illustrated.
Yeah.
That'd be
in
cool.
book form, this play,
Yeah, that'd be really, in a way, because it does have kind of a fairy tale fable quality to it, especially with the magic in the play. So actually, I could see it as like a kid's pop-up book or something like that.
Right.
That'd be really fun and cool.
Right.
That's something I feel like our Alex Church Gonzalez, who did props and costumes, I could be interested in, I imagine.
Yeah,
absolutely.
There you go. That's part 2 to this. I'm just saying,
Right.
you're going to have a book now. You got the play, you got the book coming.
Yeah. No pun intended.
Yeah.
Just dirt, right?
Yeah.
We had this one actor, Maya Smoot, who kept saying, "Oh, it could be a musical," right? Because we also had a playlist for the play, that was also a really fun aspect of the collaboration. Is we had a collaborative playlist, we had a collaborative Pinterest board, so everybody was adding songs and images and other things that were inspiring them during the process. So this playlist is hours long.
Yeah.
And it was really fun to be listening to while we were in the process. But there's a lot of songs on the playlist that's sort of women chant type music. And so Maya was like, I really could see this as a musical with that kind of music.
Yeah.
So who knows what we do with it. I'm not really, I've never written a musical before, and it's not a medium I know a lot about, but
Sure,
maybe.
you'd figure it out somehow.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I have a question. So when people see a finished play, it can feel like magic, right? But what part of the writing process actually feels like magic to you? Is it like the discipline, like the problem solving, or just like grinding through the work, or something else?
Yeah, I mean, I think the part that feels like magic is in the writing process, at least, is the part when it starts to really work. So when I've been, oftentimes I think I spoke about this the last time we met, where sometimes I'll have a writing day that's challenging and I'm procrastinating and I don't want to do it, or I sit down and it's not coming easily. I have this half-hour glass that my mom got me, and that's part of my discipline, is I will just flip it and go, okay, you have half an hour. You have to sit here and work it out for half an hour. And if at the end of that half hour it doesn't work, fine. You can get up, you can do something else. And usually it takes about 20 minutes and then I get into it. And the best part of writing for me is when you've really been hitting your head against a problem, you can't figure it out. I call it like fighting with the play. Sometimes I'm fighting with a scene, and then you figure it out and you're like, oh no, it's this. Of course it's this. And then the writing comes after that. Like, that's magic. Or sometimes I'll write something in a first draft, and that will feel like magic because, I actually just finished writing a new play, which we should talk about. But I remember I wrote this one monologue for it, and I was like, whoa, where did that come from? It's so different from the rest of the play. I love it so much. It came out in one go. I've done some editing on it, but it's really, it's one of my favorite parts of the play, and it came out pretty much in one shot. So that's very cool. That's part of what feels like magic to me.
Well, and how much of the stuff comes to you when, let's say, like, you're on the train to go to work or something, or you know what I'm saying? Like, do you get those moments and then you have to like jot it down and hope you don't forget about it, or, like anything like that? How much of that?
Yeah, with the new play that I just finished, definitely, which we can talk about the process for that, because it was a really condensed process. And so I was having to optimize every second of time that I could possibly be working on it. So definitely I have the notes app on my phone. The list of notes for this play is miles long, just because, like you're saying, I would get an idea on the train, I would get an idea late at night. So I find that really important. I'm so grateful for the notes app on my phone, because even if I forget my notebook,
I use it all the time.
Even if I forget my notebook at home, I have a way to write stuff down. With Dirt, that didn't happen as much because it was already written. I got a first draft of Dirt in maybe 2021, so I've been working on it for a really long time.
Okay.
By the time we got into rehearsal for it. But, I was just on the subway with my director a couple nights ago. We had gone to see a play and we were talking about Dirt. And then he had this great idea for the transition between acts. And now my brain is working. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I think that would work. So, yeah, it just, you never know. I mean, and for the new play that I just finished, I went to a friend's birthday party and met someone, and we were talking, and she said something that really just kicked it off. And I went home and I wrote for maybe an hour or more, just wrote little sketches for the play. And honestly, that was a huge contributing factor to being able to meet my deadline, because she just really sort of started the wheels turning, and I was able to get sketches and a little bit of a roadmap for when I actually needed to sit down and put pen to paper.
Yeah, I could imagine how much those sketches help, because you can actually now see like your vision sketched out, and you're like, oh, okay, that's going to go there, and this is going to go here, and this is what's going to happen,
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, and just ideas for scenes and not knowing, because the new play is about Picasso, which we spoke about on the last session. And it's so basically there's 3 sections to the play. It's called What is a Girl For? And the first act, so it's a two-person play, 2-actor play, but each actor plays 3 different characters. And the first act is the Minotaur and one of the young women who get sacrificed to him. The middle act is about Pablo Picasso and one of his muses, Marie-Therese Walter. And then the third act is about an art professor and his student. And so the Picasso act is really the meat of the play, and the other 2 are kind of framing devices. But so it's about Picasso and Marie-Therese. Their relationship is a 10-year-long relationship. And so that, could have been really daunting to say, what part of it do I show? How, it could have been a really monster of a task if I hadn't had that conversation with her and gone home and written a bunch of sketches and been like, okay, these are the aspects, these are the scenarios that I want to focus on. And that was so helpful.
Right.
Yeah.
It's amazing how you get a little spark. Somebody says something.
I know.
Something, and it's like, You're off to the races.
I want to hear what
Exactly.
she said. What did she say? That just
I don't even remember. I don't even
Yeah.
remember. Yeah. Yeah. And I emailed her afterwards. Was like, thank you so much. I went home and wrote for an hour afterwards. And she's like, yeah, creativity is it's such an interesting thing. You just never know. I honestly don't remember what she said. I just think I think I was nervous about writing it and kind of stressed about the time in which I had to write it. And so just talking to her in kind of a casual way and getting the juices flowing unlocked something for me, and I wasn't so scared of it anymore. And that allowed me to go home and start doing some work, I think is really what it was.
Do you ever get like days where you have like intense focus where like everything is about the story when you're writing? You're like, oh my God, that reminds me of this. Let me get, oh, you know what? That's going to work there. And like, you can't even pull yourself away from it, you know?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I mean, you get to, or I get to a point in a process. It happened with Dirt. It did happen with this new play as well, where I'm so in it and I've been in rehearsal for long enough. And then, yeah, everything starts to become about the play and I'm seeing it. We'll be watching TV at night and it'll be reminding me of the play. And I'm reading the play onto the TV show in a way that I probably wouldn't be if I wasn't in the middle of the process. So yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
That is awesome. Now, how much, I don't want to say easier, but now that that you have that process doing Dirt, how much easier is it for you to write this one, to put your thoughts onto paper? I guess we'll say.
Yeah, it's a good question. So I guess I'll speak a little bit about the process and this condensed timeline that I'm talking about. So essentially, I got the Princess Grace Fellowship. I received the news about the fellowship last August.
Right.
Okay.
And the play that got me the fellowship is Dirt. But I had found out about the workshop production at Arts on Site before I found out about the fellowship. So when I had because basically the Princess Grace Award gets me a 1-season residency at New Dramatists, which is this organization in the city that supports usually 7-year residencies for playwrights. So they take around 7 playwrights in residence. Each one of them gets 7 years. So they have around 49 playwrights in residence at any one time. But the Princess Grace Fellowship is a 1-year version of the 7-year fellowship for writers who are early in their careers, like myself. So I got the Princess Grace Award, which got me a 1-season residency at New Dramatists. So when I had my initial meeting with the team, with the staff at New Dramatists, we talked about my goals. We talked about what I wanted for the fellowship. One of the things that I get from the fellowship is a big reading of a play at some point. And I knew I wanted to do that towards the end of the fellowship as kind of a culmination event. And so I shared with them that I had this workshop production of Dirt in January, which is right in the middle of the fellowship. So I was saying, I don't want to use the reading for Dirt. That doesn't make sense. It'll have already had something a step beyond that right in the middle. So I set a goal in September that I wanted to write a new play for the fellowship during the fellowship. That seemed really manageable in September when I set that goal. And then I sort of had it in my head that I would have time to be working on this new play while also working on Dirt, while also producing Dirt. And that turned out not really to be true because self-producing was way harder than I had expected that it would be. So essentially, Dirt, we had our final performance February 8th. Then I took a week and a half to make some rewrites on Dirt and send it out to folks who weren't able to attend. And then I wrote this new play in 6 weeks because the reading date had already been set in September. It was May 12th. So I had a deadline. There was no way the play had to be done by May 12th, had to be ready to be in front of an audience on May 12th. So I wrote it in 6 weeks, which is the fastest I've ever written a play. It took a lot of diligence and it was a lot of saying no to things, not going out with friends,
right,
getting up early, and being just really, really diligent about the writing. And so in some ways, yes, it was easier to write this having just come off the Dirt process. Also, it's the first new full length that I've written in 4 years. So that was also amazing to just write a full length play again, because I've mostly been rewriting older things for the interim. So that felt great to write a new play. And I'm really proud of it. I'm really happy with it. And I think part of that is that I'm a better writer now than I was when I wrote Dirt, when I wrote my last play. The bones of the new play are better because I'm a stronger writer now. Whereas Dirt, the bones aren't as strong because I started that play when I was 25. And so I can rewrite, and I think there's changes I can make to make it how I want it to be, but it's just going to take longer to get there. Whereas with this new play, I really notice a difference in terms of progression of my craft. So that's amazing that I was able to write it in 6 weeks and that I feel as good about it as I do currently. That's a major step forward that I notice.
That's cool.
It's good that you recognize that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that you made that progression, you know, and again, it's like what I said earlier, you kind of build off of what you did previous.
Yeah.
And you always got a lesson there. Even when you think you got it down, there's like, you know what? I could probably do that different.
Yeah. Definitely. That's fire.
Oh my gosh.
Sure.
Yeah. Playwriting, you're never done. You're never done. And that's something I'm also really learning. There's this playwright, Brandon Jacob Jenkins, who doesn't, well, or at least didn't, the last I heard about it, which was maybe 5 years ago now, didn't like to publish his plays because, you know, then once it's published, that's it. That's the script. And he was like, that's not how I think about it. It's always evolving. It's always changing. And every time I do a production, I learn something new, which I thought was, you know, an interesting way to look at it. So yeah, there's a lot of people who are of the mind that a play is never done. Now, you know, some of them are done.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, I don't think The Crucible, I think you could say, is probably we're good. You know, plays that have had hundreds of productions by this point, I think we can say that they're done.
I figure probably at a certain point you'd be like, I think it's good. I think we got
it.
You know?
Yeah, you got to get to. I think you know,
it's
I've
about
never had a
machine, you know.
Yeah, I've never had a play published, but I hope that at some point I will get to a point where that's one, an option, and two, I feel comfortable enough with the play to say, yeah, okay, this is what it is, at least for now. And of course, you can always release a new edition if something drastic changes and you think you've got to make a big shift. That's always an option too.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. Yeah.
That's freaking great. I love it. I mean, I commend you in being able to sit in front of the people, you know, and just be able to be like, that's my play. You know what I mean? I know, I'm sure you're nervous a little bit, but like,
it's got to be nerves involved.
Yeah, but I'd probably be like, I probably wouldn't even get to the point where I say, all right, cool, read this because we're gonna actually make it a production. I'm like, no, I don't want that. No, forget it. I changed my mind. You know what I mean? I'd bug out.
Panic.
Yeah.
How hard is it for you to watch yourself when you see yourself, when you go back and look at it? Are you uncomfortable with that? Some people aren't, you know.
Wait, say more. I'm not sure I 100%.
In other words, like when you go back and watch Dirt, right? You said you were in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Are you comfortable with seeing yourself?
Okay, well, so right, I'm not in the play.
Well, that's all right. But you're still, but you're seeing
your work,
right? So there's a part of you. It's a reflection of yourself in a sense, right? When you think about it. So I'm thinking, you know, are you comfortable? And that's probably where the changes come in. I think I probably just answered my own question. That's probably where the changes come in when you sit there and, you know, you're looking at it and you go, oh yeah, this, that, you know, I'm not comfortable with that. Maybe I'll just go this direction instead.
Yeah, it's nice because often if I'm revisiting an older play, I'm revisiting it because I want to change it. So if I'm just sitting alone in my room and I'm reading the script, that's what I'm doing. And it's, you know, I haven't experienced this yet, at least, where I'm judging my younger self for how I wrote the play. That's not really the experience. With Dirt, it's funny, Kenny, what you're saying about being scared to be watching the audience. I was a little bit, right? There are certain people in the audience whose opinions I really respect, and it was nerve-wracking to have them there and sit behind them and wonder what they were thinking. But I'm definitely my own harshest critic. So it's way more about how do I feel about this and the critique that I'm putting on myself. It's way more about that than it is about other people and their reactions.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. That makes sense.
And that should be the only one, really.
Yeah. Well, yeah, definitely.
Totally.
Well, like you said before too, you know, it's all the people that have come, and you're happy that you were able to, you know, have people, you know, have the emotion, the laugh, the cry, the, you know, just feeling what you wrote, but that you keep going back to change it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that is all day the signs of, you know, you being your harshest critic. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Did that make sense how I said it? Yeah.
Yeah.
But in a positive way too, though.
Well, yeah.
You know what? I could do this instead, and we'll make it easier, or this flows better, or you know, obviously, you know, you know better.
Yeah.
I think that comes down to the love of the process. This is a really hard industry to be in. It's really
Right.
hard to break into it. There's little to no money in it until you get to a certain level. So I feel like you have to really love it, and you have to really love the process of it. If the part that you love is the production, 90% of it, if not more, is the process, is the writing and the editing. And so if you only love the production part, I think you would get burnt out. And so I think the part for me, the best thing about it is learning about it and then going back and changing things. And I love the process. I love the writing. So you can see I'm really excited to get back in the room with Dirt to make more changes. I'm like hungry and eager to get back in the room with it. I'm sort of chomping at the bit for that. So I'm excited about that.
If we wanted to see that, how would we go about to see that?
You gotta go to the theater.
Is that on? Can you send me a video? You don't have it on video?
I can actually send you a video. I can. We recorded Dirt, so I absolutely can send it to you.
Oh, awesome. That would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. My friend Natalie Darren Johnson came to the final performance and did a beautiful recording of it. So I have that.
Yeah. So you gotta send us the link too, because then we could post it up, put it up on whatever,
absolutely.
So
put like a little snip or whatever.
Yeah.
Right,
yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
So I'm interested in hearing the new play. So what is there a date for it yet? Is there or is it kind of still like in progress? Like we're in a couple of months, or do you guys have like a specific deadline? Is there a certain place it's going to be, and all that information?
Yeah. So we did a reading of it on May 12th. So basically, the way it happened is I wrote it in 6 weeks. I got a first draft of the play on April 9th. Then I did some rewrites. I met with some friends April 15th and heard it out loud, some amazing friends and actors and dramaturgs, and learned a lot from that. Then I had 3 more weeks to write and revise. And then I asked for this, which was really nice. New Dramatists gave me an additional day in the room with actors that I wasn't supposed to have. But it's such what we were supposed to have was 6 hours in the room together on Monday, then 2 hours Tuesday morning, and then we would do the reading Tuesday evening. That's the May 11th and May 12th. That was the original structure, which I realize is something people do. There are one-day readings. Sometimes people just rehearse in the morning and do the reading in the evening. I was very aware that this is a way that people work. I had never done it before, so I was nervous about that, but excited about that to try a structure I hadn't done before. But then just realizing it was such a new play that I would want to hear it with actors the week prior so that I could make big changes in between. And so I mentioned that to Emily Morse, who's the artistic director at New Dramatists, where I have the fellowship. And she was like, if you just want to hear the play, you can have actors for an additional day, which was so amazing. So just because I mentioned that I was going to work with actors the week prior, I got an additional day, Wednesday the 6th, with my 2 actors, my director, and a dramaturg. They were all incredible. And everybody who was available for the reading was also available for that additional day, which I couldn't believe. We got so lucky that basically so when I mentioned the play and casting to the folks at New Dramatists, their first thought for the role was a man named Alfredo Narciso. And then John Stieber, who does all the casting at New Dramatists, suggested Heather Velasquez for the Marie Therese character, because he was like, the 2 of them would be on fire together. And he was totally right. We got so lucky that the 2 people who were our first thought for the roles were available for all 3 dates. I couldn't believe it. We got so lucky. Lauren Zeftel was my director, who came highly recommended from a couple of other playwrights who had worked with her before. And then I mentioned to New Dramatists that I had never worked with a dramaturg before and that I wanted to have that experience before the fellowship was over. So they paired me with Anna O'Donoghue, who was also our dramaturg. So that was incredible. So we had Wednesday together, we heard the play out loud, and then had a conversation about it afterwards. And that was the end of that day. It was about 3 hours with the actors. And then Lauren and Anna and I stuck around for another hour and had another conversation. And then I took what I learned from that. I did 5 days of rewrites. I had a 7-hour writing day that Sunday.
Whoa.
It was long. It's long. And
that's what I'm like.
And that's like at my computer. That's not including taking breaks to eat something or drink water or whatever.
Right.
So that was a long one. And then, but that was amazing. And I was, my intuition on that was so right that I was not going to want to do that level of work between Monday and Tuesday. I would not have had time to make all the changes that I wanted to make if we had stuck to the original structure. So I'm really glad that we got that additional day. And then we came in, had the full day of rehearsal on Monday, a couple hours Tuesday morning, and then we did the reading Tuesday afternoon. So that was May 12th. So it's already been in front of an audience, which is wild for such a new play. It's really exciting. And then I have an opportunity now to take the play out to Cape Cod at the end of the month.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's this project out there called the Cape Cod Theater Project, which is in Falmouth, and they develop 4 plays every summer. And so you get a week of rehearsal and then 3 readings, each with a talk back after the reading. So I got invited to be out there the first week of the project this summer. So I'm going to do that.
That's awesome. Congrats.
Yeah.
That's
Thank
awesome.
you.
Yeah. So
Very
the
cool.
funny is that I didn't
Join
know
away.
about that at Cape Cod because a bunch of years ago I had gone to Cape Cod and they had a music fest and like Winston
Oh.
Madison stuff was out there.
Really?
Yeah. So that's when I heard about like what Zoe's talking about now to go out there and they have the plays and they said music festivals and stuff. Like, what? Of course I haven't been able to go back since, but
I haven't been there in so long.
Yeah. It's nice over there. It's freaking gorgeous. So yeah, you're gonna have a good crowd over there, man.
Yeah, I've never been, so I'm really excited to just get to go and hang out. Yeah.
Yeah, it is great. You're gonna love it. I said it's beautiful out there. You know what I mean? And the vibe is just so groovy. Like, yeah, you're gonna.
No, Tom?
It's gonna be.
I'd never been there
Tom,
either.
yeah,
Yeah.
but no, you're gonna
I was
enjoy
young.
it. Yeah, no, I was in my 20s. No,
I mean, I was a kid. I went with my parents.
Oh, no. I
Like,
was already an adult, children's was born and everything.
Right.
And
I wanna go whale watching.
Yeah, this guy.
Whale watching.
Yeah, but it's
I'll
really
go to
cool,
that.
man. Yeah, it's really cool. You're gonna enjoy it. Yeah, man. Good luck. Congrats. That's gonna be fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really exciting. So I leave to go up there June 28th, and then we get 25 hours of rehearsal and then 3 readings, each with a talk back, 4th of July weekend. So
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
4th of July
There-
week.
Yeah,
I
That
know.
is
it's gonna be fantastic.
That's
Yeah,
right.
you're gonna have a great crowd, man. Like seriously, it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I'm super excited. And their donors
Yeah.
host us and put us up. It's gonna be a really
Yeah.
fun time.
Yeah, that is so
That
cool.
is
Oh
awesome.
man,
That's
good
exciting.
luck. Congrats.
So
And
exciting.
for that other man, I'm mad I can't go right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say if anybody randomly is free 4th of July weekend and wants to come to
Yeah.
Cape Cod, you could hear the play then.
That-
Meanwhile, and 4th of July falls on a Saturday this year.
That's what
Yeah,
I'm
so
saying. So, it's going to be good because, so the first showing is on the 4th?
No, so the first reading is Thursday the 2nd, and then there's a
Okay.
reading Friday the 3rd. We have the 4th all the way off, so that's really fun too.
Okay.
We get to just take that day off and relax and be
Yeah,
people.
see, that's what I'm
And
saying.
then and
Cool.
and
It's
then
gonna
we
be
have a
cool
reading.
Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So I'm saying, so that's why it's going to be groovy too,
Right.
because, the people that get there a little bit earlier, to get settled in, the out-of-towners or just the people that, even live there,
Locals.
come back locals,
Right.
that's everybody getting settled in. So like, you know what? Well, we know, let's go see this, and then they go see Zoe's play and,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like that's where my head is at. So that's you're going to have a really good turnout.
Yeah. Hal Brooks is the artistic director at Cape Cod, and we were talking about the audience. I mean, I think the project I could be wrong about this, but I think the project has existed for about 20 years. So they have a really strong audience base and people who are excited to come back every year and see the plays. And he was explaining there's a lot of scientists who live out there. There's a lot of marine biology stuff that happens. And so those people are really excited for the experimentation aspect of the readings, which I never would have made that connection. But that's really cool, right? They're used to running experiments. And so they understand sort of the aspect of that would translate to the arts. Because that's essentially what you're doing with the reading is you are experimenting. You throw it up in front of an audience and you say, you see how it works, and did they laugh at this? And that moment didn't get a laugh, so maybe we rework that a little bit. That's kind of what it is, and it's so exciting to have 3 plus a talk back, right? So you get to actually hear directly from the audience what they thought, how it's affecting them, and then I get to go make changes the next morning if I want to, based on what I learned, and do it all over
Right.
again the next day. So
That's got to be really cool, the talk back session, though, because you're
Yeah.
dealing now with a bunch of people who are potentially a bunch of scientists.
Yeah.
So maybe you get like a really unique kind of feedback from them, I could imagine.
yeah.
And what's really cool too is like so to me, I'm picturing that's like a local like theater community. Like they expect like a lot of shows to come and go, so they kind of go to them. So it's probably
Yeah.
like a lot of the same people. So you can even
I think
get
it is,
better
yeah.
feedback that way too, because
Right.
they're like theater goers who are like, oh, we saw this play, we saw that play. Then
Yup.
maybe they can
Right.
give really nice feedback.
Yeah. I remember Zoe when she was a young producer. I mean, she was fantabulous. You know what I mean? Like that's the that's the whole vibe. Yes.
And I mean, there's plenty of people. Bess Wohl, who just won the Tony Award for Best Play Liberation this year, she workshopped a play out on Cape Cod a number of years ago at the project. You know, so there's definitely people who start out at the project and go on to the heights of the industry for sure. And that's got to be exciting for the people who, like you're saying, watch the development all that time.
That
it does sound. It sounds
very
like people come
valuable,
back summer after summer. And Hal was saying, actually, some people see every single reading, like all 3 readings of the same play, they'll still come, which is wild. I've never seen. I mean, I've very rarely seen a play more than once. I've done it a couple of times, but so that's exciting. I wonder who those people are and how their brains work.
Yeah. Well, because I mean, it's almost like I guess it's like it's better than sitting in the house and watching TV. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Yeah. You know, and I mean, if you think about it, you're out at Cape Cod. So I said for not people who haven't gone in there, out there being an adult, it is you don't want to sit in the living room. You know what I mean? You want to be outside. You want to go walk along the beach.
You want to go check out town, the theater,
everything. I mean, because it's so pretty. It's nice.
Yeah.
It's crazy because me thinking about it, remembering now, it's like, you know what I mean? To just be out and
there's a lot to
talking people.
absorb, though,
Yeah, because it's awesome. Like, you see all the little houses that are there,
Right.
a lot of history, I mean, a lot of, some of the places, they've turned them into like Airbnbs and such,
Right.
but it's just such a cool vibe, it's just so that you want to be able to go and see the play and listen to the music and the outdoor cafes and, even like you could rent the little scooter, the mopeds and go around the island and stuff. Like I'm saying, like, just go around town and stuff. Like, it's just, you're gonna, man. Yeah. I'm gonna have to make a trip now.
You want to
totally.
go?
Yeah.
I'm
Absolutely.
really looking forward to it, and just the relaxation of just a slower pace than New York City. I think it's going to be really good for me. I mean, this has been a packed year between producing Dirt and then writing this new play so fast. I think it'll be really nice to get out there and just have a total nervous system reset. And Hal was saying that he was like, we're not trying to mimic development processes in New York City. We're on the Cape for a reason. We don't want you to spend the whole time in the rehearsal room. We want you to get out and enjoy the island and see things,
Yeah.
Or it's not an island, it's the mainland, but you know what I mean. And to enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's all good.
I said it first, as I said before, like, in town,
It's a kid.
I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I've never been. I'm not super familiar with the geography, but I do. Yeah, I think it's the mainland.
Yeah, no, you're gonna enjoy it.
The question I know, do the actors help a lot too with the collaborating as well? Like if you get into
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, totally. Even the morning of the reading, we had 2 hours in the rehearsal room together before the reading, and things that they both were saying changed the play, an hour before we were supposed to read it out loud. Alfredo, who played the Picasso track, had this great idea for basically the third act takes place in an art exhibit of Picasso's work. And we were really trying to figure out the female character, the student, gets a really long 2-page monologue at the end of the play. And we were really trying to figure out, okay, there's shifts that happen here. When do they happen? Where do they happen? Why do they happen? And Alfredo was so helpful parsing that out. And he was like, well, you got to remember, we're having this conversation in a public place. We're having this conversation in an art exhibit. And she's kind of accusing him of wanting to sleep with her and how messed up that is and all of these things. So he's like, if we, I'm a tenured professor. I have a lot to lose if someone in this room overhears this conversation and gets the wrong idea. So we worked that in of, the being, when are they aware that other people might be listening? When are they not? That was so helpful and just changed the whole way that was structured and the way that Heather was playing it. And it solved all the problems. It's like, oh yeah, that's why we're doing it this way. Brilliant. So smart.
Yeah.
It's nice to have that other talent around you, right? That can just, they give you that feedback. That's all this good stuff.
No, and I mean, that's the big lesson that I've learned over the past few years is theater is a collaborative medium. I came out of my undergrad thinking that I could sit at my desk and make the play perfect by myself, and you just can't. That is not how it works. And for me, the sooner I let other people in on the process, the sooner I get other voices in the room, the better. And the more I listen to them, the better. And it's a lesson I learned at 16 and then have had to relearn. I started writing plays when I was 16 and had the amazing fortune to be part of this program at Curious Theater Company in Denver called Curious New Voices, where I got to work with a professional director and their professional actors on a one-act play that I wrote when I was 16. And I learned really quickly, oh my gosh, the more I listen to this director, the more I listen to these actors, the better. They know a lot more than I do, and the play's going to get better. So I learned that lesson really early and then kind of forgot it and had to relearn it over the last few years. But I'm so glad that I did because, other people make all the difference. There's this kind of myth of the genius playwright who sits in their room and makes a perfect thing by themselves, Tennessee Williams and Edward Albee and Arthur Miller. But that's not how it happens.
Right.
Yeah, being tunnel vision sometimes is not the best way to go.
Exactly.
You miss things. You miss and even with this new play, I've gotten some feedback in the last couple of days that I totally missed. And I had friends read it and point things out. So, maybe I'll make some changes before we go to Cape Cod. Maybe I won't. We'll see what happens. But that was really interesting to be like, oh wow, yeah, I'm so inside of it. It's so close to home for me that I just didn't even notice.
Right. Yeah. No, that's awesome. But I mean, you know what? And that's what makes you the better playwright. That makes you the better producer, maybe the better director. You know what I'm saying? When you're able to just take that feedback, and be able to work with that. You know what I'm saying? That makes you better as far as I'm concerned. That's how
I agree. I mean, I think it's true in everything. I think collaboration is really important. You have to have the humility to know that you don't know everything and to trust the people around you. Now, you need to put the right people around you. You shouldn't be listening to certain people are not going to have helpful feedback. You need to know who your collaborators are and who you trust. I'm not saying trust the opinion of every single person, right? Some audience members are going to come and say things that just don't resonate with me at all. And I graciously thank them for their feedback and not put it in the play. That's fine.
Right. Yeah.
But I think with everything, collaboration is so important. I think it makes all of us better. The more we
you got to just let the ego go.
Right. That's how I'm so great because I listen to people talk about me.
When ego is involved, sometimes that's when it happens. You're not open to hear listening to
100%.
Everybody else.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's always a little ego involved, right? Because you want it to be good. I want it to be good.
There's a flexibility there, though, because you realize that. You know that it's gonna be better if I have all this other input,
right?
From all these other people collaborating. That's awesome stuff.
Yeah, the trick is just to not grip it too tightly, not grip too tightly to what your vision is, unless you get it to a point where you're really happy with it and you're like, no, I mean, this is what I want it to be, and other people are gonna have their opinion, and that's fine, right? I've noticed it. Recently, I've seen a lot of theater and oh my goodness, my partner and I saw a play and we loved it. We absolutely loved it. And then my friend went with his husband and they hated it. He was like, I was checking my watch the whole time wondering when I could leave. And I couldn't believe it. Like, we loved it. It's one of my favorite things I've seen all season, and he couldn't stand it at all. So, and this is my director. This is the director of Dirt. So obviously someone who I really respect. And sometimes our taste pairs up and sometimes it really doesn't.
It's
So you
funny
gotta
how
keep
that
that in
happens
mind
though,
too.
right?
Yeah.
Because you think, "Oh, we're right in line," and then all of a sudden,
Yeah, he like
someone just goes the other direction.
Yes.
On certain
No.
things, of course.
right.
Yeah, no, basically, right, there's kind of so it's myself and my director, Tyler Christie of Dirt, and my friend Ava Geyer, who's also an amazing playwright. I see things with Ava, I see things with Tyler, sometimes the three of us see things together. Ava sees things with Tyler, and I never know when I walk out of a play where we're all gonna land. You know, sometimes I like it and Tyler and Ava hate it, sometimes the other way around. We look at each other for a minute and then are like, "Okay, what did you think?" Because I never know where we're gonna land. It's wild.
Yeah, it's true. It's like how Kenny and I with the DC and Marvel.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he has certain ways of looking at DC where
Uh-huh.
I don't. Like,
Uh-huh.
we don't agree.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
We like the same things, but we're kind of
Yeah.
go in a different direction.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
that's
but
It's
hilarious.
for different reasons.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
how the story should be, or how no, it shouldn't be that way. It
Yeah.
should go, more towards the way the comic was. I'm like,
Yeah.
gotta go off.
Yeah.
Shouldn't.
I love it.
But I
Yeah,
think in
no,
Star Wars,
that's
we're
my
pretty
top.
much.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
we could
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been doing the Star Wars thing on the podcast too. We did all the
doing all the rewatches.
Yes.
of all the series. Yeah.
I know. I'm excited to listen because I did a rewatch with a friend during the pandemic. We did them all
Did you do that the whole?
in chronological order, not in release.
So did I. That's what I did.
Yeah.
The whole thing in chronological order.
Yeah. Which you learn a lot doing that. Now my partner and I are doing it with the Studio Ghibli films. The if you saw any of the Miyazaki movies like Spirited Away or My Neighbor Totoro, are you guys familiar with any of this?
No.
My son did that.
It sounds
Yeah.
familiar. I'm not sure.
Okay, yeah. It's a Japanese animation studio. Ghibli.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not
yeah.
even sure if I'm
Yeah. No, I didn't
saying
watch
that
it.
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they're great, right? So there's this movie Spirited Away that came out, I think, in the early 2000s that is gorgeous. And my brother and I watched it so many times. We had the DVD. I've probably seen this movie 100 times. But there were a lot of them that I had never seen. And so my friend and I started watching that in release order, in chronological order. And that's fascinating to watch how the storytelling and the animation style progresses, as you go on. That's been really fun. My friend and I kind of dropped off on it, and then my partner and I have picked it up because, the pandemic ended and life got busy again.
Are you still doing the Star Trek? Or no.
Yeah, I mean, not as much anymore, but I've seen a lot of it at this point, right? I've been with my partner now 3 years, and I've gotten a pretty solid Star Trek education, I would say. Yeah. So we've fallen off of it a little bit. Maybe we'll get back on. I'm trying to convince him because he's mostly shown me sort of sporadic episodes here and there, like, oh, this one's important. This one, a huge thing happens. And I would be really interested to watch one of the seasons just all the way through, start to finish, because we haven't done that yet. I've seen, 6 or 7 of the movies at this point. And we've watched a lot of the newer Star Trek content that has come out. Like Lower Decks, I think, is really great. I don't know if you...
Lower Decks. I love Lower Decks.
So it's so good. And I don't even really like animated. It's funny. I was talking about Ghibli, but I don't really like animated things normally. But Lower Decks, I really, really enjoy.
I gotta check it out.
Yeah.
Are you a Star Trek guy?
Well, no, and that's the thing. So, like, we're doing Star Wars now, and then we're gonna do Star Trek.
Yeah,
and I'm kind of saving it because I want to get my take as a first person watching. I've seen some Star Trek. Like, I watched Next Generations when it aired when I was younger.
Right.
I watched a few of the movies, but I can't say that I know a lot. So when we do that, I'm gonna get it from a first time watching.
Yeah, that's great. That's
Yeah,
great.
yeah,
that'll be really fun.
I heard
Oh
about
my
it,
gosh.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
listen, so that you guys know, my sister, I told you guys this, my sister got me into watching the Star Trek in a different way. I looked it up, and there's a way to watch it in chronological order, the same way you did Star Wars.
Yes.
Right? And I didn't know that.
Yes.
Because I told you guys that I was watching Strange New Worlds. And then she's like, stop it, cut it out, go back and watch Discovery. I'm like, Discover who? Like, what are you talking about? And she's like, go back and watch it. And it put a whole new twist on everything.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. My partner, Gary, had me watch Discovery first. I haven't finished Discovery. I've only watched the first 3 seasons of it maybe, and then we started Strange New Worlds. But definitely there's something in Discovery you have to know before you watch Strange New Worlds.
Yeah.
And if you really go back to the original series,
right.
Yes.
That's where it first starts, and how you know about him and how he actually died
Right.
and everything
And that's what
went
I'm
on.
saying. So that's why now
You're in spoiler stuff.
Yeah,
yeah,
final,
see, look,
right.
we just jumped in. Listen,
So
that's
listen,
gonna come.
Zoe,
Yeah,
for
Zoe,
me
yeah,
and for Kenny, we would go home at night after hanging out with our friends when we were kids,
yeah,
and that's what was on late at night
yeah,
on WPIX 11,
yeah,
right?
Channel 11.
So you had it was The Odd Couple, it was The Honeymooners, it
And
was Star Trek reruns,
yeah.
and then The Twilight Zone.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you would be
Yep.
up that whole time watching that. So I know,
Mhm.
like, I've seen every episode. My parents were Star Trek dweebs, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I got it from them, and I've always been with the sci-fi and, of course, Star Wars and all that other
Channel
stuff.
11 and 9, I always think at Star Wars. I think Channel 9, did they have Next Generation? Was that one?
don't
Or
know.
No,
was
they
it-
had it in the repeats.
They had
Yeah,
no repeats.
yeah.
Okay.
Well,
so
I
it
see-
originally aired on
Well, it's
PIX.
the
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I'm gonna say it like this: when we have it, we're gonna have you, Zoe, and Gary back on.
You definitely should have Gary on. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Like you, Lou, he's seen every single episode.
Yeah, sure.
Definitely,
Like
definitely,
multiple
definitely.
times. And
Right.
then
You know,
I'm
we
sure
have
there's
all our
We'll let
there's
you
deep
know.
Star Wars
lore that he
fans
could
and
go
nerds
into for
on,
sure.
on our Star Wars episodes. We will get our Star Trek.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll get
When you
Trekkies.
start doing
We'll
Star
get
Trek, you
Trekkies
should
on,
definitely,
trust me.
have him
That'll be
on.
good.
That
No
is
question
freaking
about it.
fantastic.
Definitely
Yes.
welcome. Yeah.
Well, so thank you so much for coming back
Yes.
on with us. I appreciate it. As always, it was great.
Mhm. And tell us,
Yeah.
like, give us real quick before we say goodbye. Give us all the info on the new one. And
Yeah.
everybody can be and all.
The play's called What Is a Girl For? It's going to be at the Cape Cod Theater Project 4th of July weekend. We'll do 3 readings. So if anybody's out there, it's just Cape Cod Theater Project. You can Google that. It's in Falmouth. There were lots of industry folks and theaters and people who came to the reading we did at New Dramatists in May. Maybe folks will hear about the Cape Cod Theater Project. There's some folks who have the script who weren't able to attend the reading. So hopefully something will happen and we'll either get another workshop and or a production from that, some of the development we're currently doing. So fingers crossed. I have no idea, but I will absolutely let you know next time we get to be in a room with it and get to put it in front of an audience. Absolutely.
Yes.
And same with Dirt. Who knows what happens next with that, but I will absolutely let you know. If anybody out there listening, wants to give us some resources to do a workshop of either play,
Yes.
hit me up.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
Yeah.
That is awesome. But yeah, so I'm happy for you. Congratulations.
Congrats.
Good
Thank
luck.
you.
Yeah.
And all that good stuff. Because, man, yeah, you're going to have a great time at the Cape. So, yeah.
I'm really
enjoy.
excited. Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent. So, with that, thank you for being here again, Zoe. Appreciate
It was
you
my
coming on.
pleasure. It's
Fitting
really
us
fun
into your
hanging out with
busy
you guys.
schedule.
Right.
But yeah, so thank you. And everybody else, thank you for listening, watching us, like, subscribe.
Find us on wherever you watch your podcast.
Wherever you watch your podcast, listen to your podcast. Join us and all that other good stuff. So, love, peace, and hair grease.
Live long and prosper.
And may the force be with you.
Holla!